About Viksit Bharat. But before I get into that, I cannot help, given that I have been in the industry for 4 decades now, I cannot help but to look in the rearview mirror and marvel at where the industry has come in all these years. Starting off from a budding industry in early 90s to be amongst the top 3 globally by volume is a remarkable achievement. And as I have said on numerous occasions, the supplier community has led the way in this exciting journey. We had a late start in some areas, such as safety and cleanliness of the vehicles, but now we are totally caught up. Consumers obviously are not getting last generation technology. In many cases, technology is being introduced first in India. And the remarkable progress that we have witnessed in the last few decades fills me with pride. The supply community has evolved in a big way in these times, especially in quality and technology, and I have seen this evolution right in front of my eyes. I have seen passing of the baton from many industry stalwarts, such as Dr. Surinder Kapoor to Sanjay, Ramesh Suvidi to Siddha, D.K. Jain to Deepak and Anor, Deepa Anand to Anjali, Balaji to Arvind, the TVS group to next generation. I remember meeting Minda group, Minda brothers, way back in 25 years ago. I never thought they'll make it so big. Mothersons have their wings spread all over the world now. I can go on and on, but I should also say that I missed the Mahindra Supplier Conference, where we were allowed to let our hair down and demonstrate our skill, not on the shop floor, but on the dance floor. So let me now look forward and see where we're headed. If you reflect on the past 30 years, nobody could have envisioned the India of today. The economy has advanced at a very fast pace, era of unprecedented opportunities for India. A decade ago, we were 10th largest economy. Today we are 5th, just in 10 years, and soon will become 3rd. Honorable Prime Minister has laid out an ambitious plan for Viksit Bharat by 2047, which will lead us to a remarkable transformation. 2047, 23 years from now, is a generation, and it's hard to imagine where we would be in 2047. Just like it was hard to imagine where we will be today if we look at 2000, in the year 2000. A $35 billion economy is what is being talked about. It may seem very big, but that's just the power of compounding. To get to $35 billion, all we need is 10% nominal growth in dollar terms. It is just about 7% GDP growth every year in real terms. However, the concept of Viksit Bharat extends way beyond the GDP, way beyond economic growth. It envisions a developing India, characterized by not just a $35 billion economy, but 7-fold increase in per capita income, world-class infrastructure across urban-rural areas, minimizing divide between them, universal access to high-quality healthcare and education, ideally free of cost, eradication of poverty and illiteracy, self-reliance and prominence in the global hub for critical technologies in strategic sectors, such as defense, space, aerospace, and key manufacturing sectors like automotive, agriculture, chemicals, and textiles. And simply by wishing. Everybody collectively has to take bold steps, be brave. It will be possible only if the government, the business, the entrepreneurs, and the civil society work together, take on ambitious goals, and make big bets. Now, automotive industry has a role to play in all the factors that we talk about for Viksit Bharat. Last year, I talked about automotive component export of $100 billion and PV export of 25% manufacturing. All of you said it's very ambitious, but today you have adopted it as part of the 2030 plan. So now that we're done with 2030, it gives me a ticket to talk about 2047 and perhaps become a little bolder in what I'm going to say. So where will the industry be in 2047? Now I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at you for the next minute and a half. If you get confused, don't worry about it. I'll summarize it. But as has been said, Honorable Minister has set up an apex committee for scripting the AMP3 for 2047. I don't know what the outcome will be, but let me give you some of my thoughts. Coming 20% of that coming from automotive industry is something that's a reasonable expectation from the auto industry. That means an auto industry of $1.6 trillion. Just imagine this room will be contributing $1.6 trillion at least to the economy in 2047. Hard? Not really. Again, power compounding. All that needs is 11% nominal growth in top line in dollar terms. In the last 23 years, those of you who have not count, we have grown at 17% CAGR. If you go at 17% for the next 23 years, you get $5.3 trillion. All that I'm saying is 1.6 trillion. I hope my math is correct. Now the problem is that domestic will not grow at 11%. 8% growth for domestic industry for the last 23 years is a reasonable, aggressive target to take. It will take domestic industry to about $700 billion. That means $900 billion has to come from export. That's not negotiable. $900 billion has to come from export, and I am saying out of that, $500 billion from components and $400 billion from auto OEMs. $500 billion component export. I see a lot of people smiling here. If $100 billion happens by 2030, it's only 10% CAGR from there on to get to $500 billion.